Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to Gaming on Board. Tonight, we're going to take a look at a game by Friedman Freeze. Now this is if I'm correct, a German game designer who really loves the color green and really loves the letter F. I think it has to do with his name, Friedman Freeze. But anyways, he's brought us a ton of great games like Fortress and Fear from the Fast Forward collection of games, as well as Friday, the really good solo game Friday, which I recommend. You see a lot of green here. But tonight we're going to take a look at one in particular that me and my wife have really had a lot of fun with, and talk about Fabled Fruit by Friedman Freeze. So I'm going to show you how this game is played, tell you my thoughts on it, and also I'll just give you a quick look at the expansion that you can pick up. So this game is kind of legacy type game where you can pick up where you left off. There's kind of worker placement, and there's definitely set collection, and the games are pretty quick, so you can play 3, 4, 5 in a row. And if you enjoy it as much as I do, as soon as you finish one game, you just want to play another one. You play another one because you want to see what's coming up next. But anyway, let's go down to the table. I'll show you how a couple of rounds will look, go over a high level of how the rules work, and show you a few cards without spoiling too much. All right, let's go check it out. Okay, so we got a 2-player game, a Fabled Fruit, all set up. And let me just go over what all this stuff is. So this is a deck of a bunch of different fruits. Okay, so there's grapes and pineapples and coconuts and bananas and strawberries, and I believe that's it. So you got a bunch of different kinds of fruits. Each player will choose a character and take the token and matching meeple, turtle meeple, whatever, that they choose, and then they'll get 2 fruit cards. So the elephant has started with a coconut and a banana. Turtle started with a coconut and a bunch of grapes. This is the deck of location cards that is in a very specific order. You never want to mess up the order of this. It's bigger than this too. I've excluded the ones that me and my wife are currently, which are active, and I put the ones that we've already used back on here for this example. So this is what the first game will look like. You'll have locations 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. There's 4 of each card here, and there should always be 24 cards on the table. Not necessarily 6 piles of 4, but there should always be 24 cards out, and I'll explain that here in a minute. So on your turn in Fabled Fruit, you will place this token on one of these locations, and then you have 2 choices. So on each card there's going to be an effect. On this one it's draw 2 fruits from the stack. Pretty simple. You just draw 2 fruit cards. Your second option is to turn in fruit cards, in this set right here. So there's 3 pineapples, and this daiquiri thing means a wild card. So I need 3 pineapples and any fruit card to complete this juice. So if I choose to do that, I'll place my meeple on this card, I'll pay the fruit required, and then I'll flip it over, and that will be 1 juice. The 1 here does not mean 1 point. It just means this is card number 1 out of 60 or however many cards are in this base game deck. So the first player, depending on the number of players in the game, to get a certain number of juice cards is the winner of that game. But like I said in the intro, the games are pretty quick, and then you'll immediately want to play again. So, and there's separate scoring for if you're just playing one game or if you're playing a series of games. So you can actually play sets of games instead of just one round, kind of like tennis. So anyways, like I said, you'll choose a spot, either take the action or turn in fruit cards to complete the juice. Here's another example. This one is give one banana from your hand to another player who must give you 2 fruits from his hand. So maybe you want to get rid of a banana because you need something else, but they could give you the banana back as part of the 2 fruits. So you hand them a banana, they'll give you 2 bananas back. You never know how it's going to work out. Or maybe they needed that banana to finish this one right here and you just gave them the game. This one is draw 1 fruit from the stack, then choose another player who gives you 3 fruits from his hand, take them into your hand, and return any 3 fruits back to the player. So you get to draw a card, somebody else gives you 3 fruits, you can swap out whatever you want and give them 3 back. This one is place all fruits from your hand face up on the table. In turn order, the other players each may take 1 fruit into their hand. For each person who did take a fruit, you get 2 fruits from the stack. So that's pretty good. Discard any number of fruit cards from your hand, then draw fruits from the stack until you have a total of 3 fruits in your hand. So if you have a really crappy hand that doesn't match any of the requirements out here, you can just, if you want, toss the whole hand. Even if you have 1 card, you can just toss 1 card and get 3. So that's good. And then this one is reveal fruits from this is the gambling type thing. It's pretty fun. Reveal fruits from the stack until you either take them all into your hand or until you reveal 1 type of fruit twice. In that case, discard all fruits revealed, or all revealed fruits. So you're trying to get unique fruits from the top of the stack, and then you decide when you quit and keep them, or you can keep going. If you ever reveal 2 of the same, you bust and you don't get anything. So I'm not going to show you any more cards other than these 6 because I don't want to mess anything up, because things get really cool and interesting as you work your way through this deck. But I'm just going to show you a couple of turns about how it's going to play out. So, and you cannot place your piece on a spot where another player already is, which isn't a big deal in a 2-player game, but when you're playing 3, 4, 5 players, because this does play 2 to 5, that becomes an issue. And I believe there is a rule, but don't quote me on it, that you can place on another player's location, but you have to give them a fruit to do so. So let's just say I go here and I'll draw 2 fruits. So I've got everything I need to complete this. So as long as this player doesn't go there, I'll be able to complete this juice. So let's just say they're going to go gamble. So we got 1 coconut, 1 banana. So 3 is generally the number you want to stop on when gambling. Let me just show you. There's another banana. So now he's got 2 coconuts, 2 bananas. He's close to this or this. Anyways, back to the turtle. He'll go here, and instead of taking this action, he's going to turn in 3 grapes and a wild. Takes his piece off. There's his first juice. That goes back on. And then we draw the next card from the top of the pile. Since it doesn't match anything that's already out, we'll create a new pile. So now we have a new action available. And this action is no longer available for the rest of the game unless these, stay out. So that's what's really cool is there's 4 copies of every card. When you make a juice, a new card will come out, and then we'll go through all 4 of these, and then yet another new action will come out. And just say, for example, during this first game, we both used all 3, or we made this juice. We made all 4 of these juice cards. I've already got 1 here. There's 3 left. This action will never be available ever again for the rest of your experience playing Fabled Fruit. So that's something that's I've noticed has had a huge impact on what people do, because you might have cards in your hand to make the last, let's say there's only one of the draw 2 fruit cards left. And you have everything you need to make it, and it might even win you the game. But then you'll never be able to just place a worker and draw 2 fruit ever again for the rest of the experience. So that's just really cool. I've noticed that this stuck around probably like 8 or 9 games. Card number 1 was still there because we wanted to be able to draw cards. But a lot more interesting strategic choices come up through here. So you've got 60 different cards times 4, and that's 240 cards you have to work your way through. And the entire time the rules of the game are changing, your options are changing, these things actually change, there's more components, there's little pieces that interact with the board. I don't want to give away too much, but I just want you to realize how dynamic the game is. And then, once you finish that huge deck of cards, you can just run out and buy the lime expansion. So this is going to add limes to the fruit mix and a bunch of new cards. And there's rules that come in this expansion that tell you how to incorporate it with the base game. So, very cool. We haven't even got to it yet, but after like 5 or 6 games, I was like, oh, okay, I'm not going to want this to end when it does end, so I'm going to go ahead and get that expansion. So, I'm trying to think of any negatives. It's not the best thing in the world 2-player. It's still super fun 2-player, but 3 and 4 player is really where it shines. It's very tense. There's a lot of player interaction. You care what everybody else does. You're not just sitting there waiting for your next turn. It is kind of fiddly resetting it. I guess that's the only thing I can really complain about. But, I mean, what do you expect for a legacy game? If you want to play with new people, you have to reset everything, which I had to do for this video. But it's okay. Right here, you can keep track of what cards are active. So even if I set this up, if I was to teach you how to play it and I came back, I could see we got one number 14 out, 116, 120, 121, 122, 425, so on and so forth. So, and it doesn't matter. We could have played, when we ended here, we probably had played like 3 or 4 games. Here we probably played 4 or 5. Here we probably played 4 or 5. And all you have to do is record where you're at the end of the game. And then you got your deck ready to go. You got your active cards set up. Very cool. Also, like I said, check out Friday. If you want a cool little solo game that's not just solitaire, Friday is very cool. So, yeah, that was Fabled Fruit. Hope you enjoyed it. This is available at Cape Fear Games here in Wilmington, North Carolina. You may be able to find it at capefeargames.com. Also, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We also live stream on Twitch from time to time. And as always, thank you for watching, and play all the games.